Hi, so this is my follow-up video on learning how to sketch crates. As you can see, I've been sketching my crates as well. I need to get back into the zone. I've been filling lots and lots of pages with them. Some have been a bit wonky, some have turned out okay, some are maybe a bit different. I've played a bit with the depth and the way they stand and things like that. And you'll notice again, like the first sketching technique lesson we did, notice how all the lines cross over at the end. That's really important because it gives us these nice crisp corners. And just to reiterate that these lines should all be construction lines, they should all be light lines. And what we're going to do is we're going to actually turn these into something today, because you're probably sitting there going, what is the point in this, Mystic? Why are you getting us to sketch all of these boxes for pretty much no reason? So I'll show you exactly why that is just now, and we can get a little bit creative today as well. So there we are, we've got 3 sections there. In the first section, all I want you to do is I just want you to sketch 2 basic crates, okay, using your light lines. So I'm going to do one. Now you'll notice I'm doing my crates on this quite in a slightly different way. Now the way I've taught you is the way that I was taught. That's, you know, it's a good way to learn, but you might find your own way of doing it that's a little bit easier. You know, if you're acing the way that I've done it just now, brilliant. But if you find another way, even better. You do it in the way that you're comfortable with, okay? So I'm just going to sketch these 2 here. Another thing to get used to as well is a lot of people sometimes sketch really small, and that can sometimes be a confident thing as well. We end up seeing things like tiny little crates that look like this, yeah, which isn't great, because obviously it's harder to add detail, B, it's harder to sketch, and also you can't really see it. So if your sketches are looking like this right now, just make them bigger, okay? It's fine. You're the only one seeing these right now, and well, until you send them into to us to look at. So we've got 2 crates there, brilliant. Okay, the next one, that's all we're doing in this section, just as a reference. The next one, we are going to open them up. Okay, so guess what you're going to be doing here? You're going to be doing 2 more crates. Okay, what we're going to do is we're almost going to treat this as a cardboard box or a piece of packaging or something like that. What we're going to do is I'm going to pick one of my sides, one of my edges. I'm going to do this one here, and I'm going to kind of open up like a flap. Okay, so what I'm going to do is from the right in the corner, I'm going to do a diagonal line like this. From this corner, I'm going to do a diagonal line the exact same angle as that, so that's going to be parallel. Okay, we do love a parallel line, so you can use your technique to visualize it, and then I'm going to do that. Okay, then to finish this off, like there's a lid kind of flapping open, I'm going to take this line, I'm going to copy and paste that up there, I'm going to mimic that line, make it parallel like so. Okay, so just so you can see that, you can now see it's almost like a wee flap that's opening the side, and we're just missing this wee line here that you would see on the inside if it was hollow. So again, this line here, I'm just going to copy and paste that there, parallel line like so. Okay, what we're going to do now is, it's almost like sculpting, okay? So sculpt me. Put my wee arrows. I do love an arrow, you will come to realise this, and arrows are very important, which will come up in another video. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a big chunk out of here. Okay, almost like it's like a kind of a little stool. So I'm going to just follow this line here, like so, moving my paper. It'll all become clear in a minute. Okay, so I've just taken away this big bit here. You would see a line here. That's going to be parallel to this part. Like so. So now we actually have something that's not just a big cube anymore. Maybe it's a chair that you sit on. For instance, from the side it might look like this, and there's like a wee person having a wee sit. There you go, it's a wee seat. What we're going to do now is we're going to use our dark lines, okay? So up this whole page should be as light as possible. You see I've got I've slipped up a couple of places. That's fine, not a bother. So you're probably going to think I went a bit mental here, but bear with me. Some people that are watching this have probably seen this before if you've had me as a teacher, but it does work and it is very important, okay? So I'm going to sketch something in the top corner of the page, see if you can guess what it is. Here we go. It's a spider web. And what we're going to do is we're going to sketch a little spider, and he's just going to be dangling down, he or she. 8 legs, there we go, spider. Okay, now this technique, this spider, this is going to be the difference between your sketch looking really clunky or looking really cool with a lot of depth without adding any colour or shadow. Okay, you can just have a simple pen or pencil sketch that has depth to it just by using thick and thin lines. So what it is, the little spider, okay, usually if we're in class I'd get you to name the spider. Feel free to add a comment with a name for the spider, it's up to you. And then we'd have like a kind of like class spider for the year. So spider lands on top of your box, your seat, stool, whatever this is, and he goes for a little walk. Now, if the spider crawls onto a surface and you can see him, so say he crawled from here to here, if you can still see him on the surface, the line that you've just crossed will be light, okay? So for instance, if you went from here to this surface, that would be a light line. However, if the spider, okay, if he was on this surface and then he crawled round this line here onto the back, you would no longer see the spider. Therefore, it would be a dark line, okay? So this would be dark, okay? I'm going to make that really dark for you so you can see it properly. Same here, if he was to crawl from this side to the underside, you no longer see him, so this side is dark, okay? And hopefully you get the picture, okay? So I'm just going to go over all the lines that would be dark. So you wouldn't see him if he crawled around here. You would still see him if he went from this surface to this surface, so that one stays light. This one would be dark, and all around the outline pretty much would be dark. And when I'm sketching my line in, I'm still using the technique with moving my full arm. I'm not using any hairy lines, okay, because that takes away from any features on the sketch, okay? So there we go. Again, I'm moving my paper. Loads. So it kind of makes the sketch pop. Just by leaving some of these lines light, it gives a sense of depth, okay, and that communicates your designs even better, okay? So if you can master the art of the crate, of sculpting parts out, adding things on, and thick and thin lines, then you're doing really, really well. It just takes practice. Okay, we're going to do this one. good point, maybe freeze the video here. Maybe you could have a go at doing this one yourself and then you could check if it's right. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just get a piece of paper and I'm just going to have a little bit of fun now, and I'm going to sketch loads of different creates on the page. What we're going to do here, okay, is we're going to be using our crates to sketch and kind of visualize 3D forms. Okay, so that's what we're trying to achieve on this page, and you could just do this for like ages. It's, you know, just have a really good play and a bit of fun with this. Okay, number one, I'm going to say that really cheesy thing again, is confidence. Okay, don't get frustrated, don't scrunch up the paper, just go with it. It's just a piece of paper. Okay, just don't get too caught up in it. You will improve the more you do it. So the more kind of loose and kind of relaxed you are, the better your sketches are going to be. Okay. Number two, we're looking for line quality in this. So that's your no hairy lines, making sure they're continuous, using that technique from the first video, making sure that you've got a difference between your light and dark lines. Okay, so these light lines are used to construct and your dark lines are used to kind of finish it off and bring a bit of depth. Okay, so actually, in fact, we're going to put that in its own little point there. So treat these as the things you're looking for success, or a bit of success criteria. Okay, so just remember all these things. You're not going to nail it in every single one maybe, but look at the previous sketch you've done and go, what's a bit funny about that? How can I improve it? So we'll stop talking, and I'm going to take this one here. And what am I going to do here? I'm just going to, again, just take my pen for a bit of a walk here. I'm going to take a big bit off the side like that. So we're going to have a wee slope here, like so. Now what I also want you to think about today, or these sketches, is I want you to think about building a bit of a narrative behind them. And what I mean there is what you're thinking, basically, because very rarely are you going to sketch anything and not add notes to it, not annotate. So I just want you to kind of put in down any thoughts or observations you've made about your sketches, just to get you get you used to writing about your sketches. Okay, and also do it as you go along. The amount of pupils that I see that have got all these amazing sketches, like really, really good quality sketches, but then they go back at the end of a full page of sketches and go back and annotate. It doesn't make any sense to me, because you're thinking as you sketch, so you annotate as you sketch, because how are you going to remember? I don't know. So get into a habit where you're able to just annotate as you go. And I'm looking at this and I think, God, that looks like a really strong form. Yeah, really strong structure on there. I can imagine it's like a piece of concrete or something, with these kind of two diagonal bits coming down here and the gap in the middle. It looks really like kind of heavy. That's actually another one. I'm going to say it looks heavy. You know, I don't think too much into these, just kind of general observations. I'm going to use my light and dark lines now to go over it. Again, do this as you go as well. And remember, when you're doing your construction lines, make sure you're crossing them over at sides. I mean, it's about like, I know it's not a huge mistake, but I've done a line a wee bit wonky. So I've corrected it, and that's fine. That's absolutely fine. It's all part of the sketch. And adding in our dark lines. Just just going to go over that one again, and that's it. Honestly, just have a bit of fun with it, just muck about. It doesn't have to look like anything. And remember, start thinking about, you know, adding this narrative, which is basically just annotations, and commit yourself a good amount of time and you practice. Honestly, your sketches will be looking fantastic, and when it comes to you coming up with designs for these big projects, you'll have the confidence to put them down on paper. So I hope you've enjoyed this video, and hopefully you can have a bit of fun with some crates.